Hello and welcome to the Everyday Eurasia podcast, inspiring faith for every day. Each day we are on a journey with Jesus in our churches, our homes, our workplaces, and in so many different places around the world. Isn't it beautiful that no matter where we are, we can walk with Him every single day? Jesus is the one who connects us all and stands at the very center of our lives, day after day. Through this podcast, you'll hear voices from across the region, sharing devotionals that reminds us of God's presence in our everyday moments. Today we will listen to Sammy Robinson. He is a husband to Glow, dad to Annie Sophia and Kate, and is a thankful pastor of Megain Nazarene in East Belfast, Northern Ireland. He also serves as NMI President for the British Isles North District and can often be found at Ravenhill cheering on and standing up for his beloved Ulster Rugby.
Hello Eurasia, my name is Sammy Robinson and I have the privilege of serving as the lead pastor of Megain Nazarene in Belfast, Northern Ireland, which is part of the British Isles North District, where I also have the joy of serving as the district NMI President. And it's a privilege for me to be able to share this short devotion thought around the World Evangelism Fund. And today we're going to be looking at 4 very short verses, but perhaps well-known verses tucked away in Luke's Gospel. And if you have your Bibles with you and it's safe for you to do so, please either flick or click with me to Luke chapter 21. Where we will read together the first 4 verses. And this is the word of the Lord. As Jesus looked up, he saw the rich putting their gifts into the temple treasury. He also saw a poor widow put in 2 very small copper coins. Truly, I tell you, he said, this poor widow has put in more than all the others. All these people gave their gifts out of their wealth, but she, out of her poverty, put in all she had to live on. Last winter, as a local congregation, we watched on as a 10-year-old girl that we know quite well taught us what true generosity looks like. After receiving money for her birthday, Eva decided that she already had too much stuff and that other children had too little. Her birthday always falls close to the Christmas season, and she was moved by the thought of children her age having to spend Christmas in the hospital. So armed with nothing more than a tender heart and a little bit of money, she went out and bought a number of books for the children's unit, hoping to bring comfort and joy to those who would be spending Christmas in the hospital. What started out as an act of generosity would quickly become a national news story, picked up by newspapers and news outlets alike. In a few short days following this interaction that we have read in the scriptures, Jesus himself would give up much more than his birthday money. But before we get there, at the end of today's passage, we see that he pauses to honor another giver, a widow with 2 small coins and a big heart, just like Eva. The teachers of the law had been trying to trap Jesus all day, but every attempt they made failed. They've been questioning him about resurrection, about authority, allegiance to Caesar, all the while hoping to discredit him in front of those who gathered around. Yet, as he so often did, Jesus exposed their motives. You see, he knew that they cared more about control than they did about truth. They cared more about religious appearances than they did about genuine surrender. So it is here that he pauses. It is in this place that he honors one whom everyone else had overlooked. It is here that Jesus chooses to honor this widow. Despite the fact that there were many others putting in much larger amounts into the temple offering pot, it is the poor widow with her 2 mites, her 2 small copper coins worth almost nothing, who Jesus chooses to honor. As we read, Jesus calls his disciples to his side and he teaches them. This poor widow, he said, has put in more than all the others. All these people gave their gifts out of their wealth, but she, out of her poverty, put in all that she had to live on. She is honored not for the size of her gift, but because of the depth of her surrender. Whilst the others gave out of their abundance, she gave from her poverty. She gave all that she had to live on. Whilst the truth is, they probably would not have noticed not having her 2 small copper coins to spend. Her giving required trust because it was all that she had. Here we see Jesus once again teaching of a kingdom whose values are the opposite of that of this world, of a kingdom where holiness is shaped more by internal surrender than it is by outward show, where true devotion is not measured by what we hold on to tightly, but by that which we place trustingly into God's hands, recognizing that He calls us to Himself and that He calls us, not our stuff. As I think of Eva's story, I am also reminded of a group of older women from the church in which I had the privilege of growing up in Carrickfergus, Northern Ireland, who would often say to me that little is much when God is in it. It is amazing the impact that our giving to the World Evangelism Fund has right throughout the world. It is amazing, and we have heard from our Global Missions Director and also from Pastor Doug of the impact of the World Evangelism Fund and the privilege that it is for us to be a part of that. So today, may we offer our lives. May we offer all that we are, all that we have, and all that we hope to be, trusting that surrender to the King is the only path to true victory, and remembering that little is much when God is in it. Thanks be to God for His care for us.
Thank you for listening to the Everyday Eurasia podcast, inspiring faith for every day. For more everyday stories, subscribe on this podcast channel, follow our socials Facebook and Instagram, or our newsletter snapshots. For our newsletter and further information about the Eurasia region, visit our website eurasiaregion.org.